Okay, here we go with song number 9, and a bloke who did as much as anyone to integrate rock and roll into the mainstream in the 60s. In 1964, he was the only American to have 2 number 1s in the UK charts, and this is one of them. In 1964, I was only 6, a mere stripling, and yet I can remember hearing this riff punching out of the radio, an indelible riff, once heard, never forgotten.
I don't know exactly where the genius in the song is. Is it in the guitar lick? Is it in the growl that Roy does? Is it his unique way of saying mercy? Mercy!
So here's the story. One afternoon at Roy Orbison's, he's with his writing partner, Bill Dees. They're trying to come up with stuff, not particularly getting anywhere. At that point, Roy's wife, Claudette, comes in. Roy, she says, want to go out shopping? He says, I suppose you want some money. And Bill Dees says, pretty woman don't need no money. And they think, start riffing on it. Words come, the music comes, a piece of history is born from that chance encounter. A wonderful moment. The only downside that Claudette went out without any money, and later that day was done for shoplifting. I made that up. But Bill Dees did say that whenever he hears this riff, he's reminded of a woman in high heels walking down the street. A pretty woman may not need no money, but the song certainly made lots. As late as 1993, Bill Dees said it made up most of his yearly income, over $100,000. 50% of the royalties went to their publishing company, Acuff Rose Music, and the other half was divided between Dees and the Big O.
I have a swimming pool in the living room, my drawing room, and 6 baths, and that's just for convenience. If you're on a certain level, there are 3 levels. And I have a couple of waterfalls beside the staircase that go into the swimming pool. And this is for a pretty sound rather than for show. Like I say, I don't have that many guests, so it's sort of my cave, you know.
This is James Burton, the master of the Telecaster. James played Pretty Woman with the Big O at a concert in 1987. Orbison died in 1988, but the performance won him a posthumous Grammy. That's the same thing with Pretty Woman, isn't it? You get a great simple riff like that and you're halfway there.
Absolutely.
I mean, it is one of the great riffs, isn't it?
I think it is, and the song is fun to play, and it's a great song.
Yeah.
Good feel and everything. And when we kicked it off, we just did... So it works really good, really nice.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those riffs that you just hear it and you're in the zone straight away, aren't you?
And the drums kicks it off, and you know, it's just cool. But you know, when we did the Black and White Night, and we did Pretty Woman.
I mean, that was really memorable. Like you and Springsteen trading licks.
Yeah, man, that was great. And Roy's looking around, and he was admiring everybody out in the audience, you know, he's digging it. I asked Elvis, I said, if you had to pick one of your favorite singers, who would it be? And he thought for a second, and he said, Roy.
Thank you.
But the Pretty Woman story has a tragic twist in the tale. It happened in 1966 and concerns Orbison's wife, Claudette, the muse behind his biggest hit. That song, Pretty Woman, that was Claudette, wasn't it? That was his first wife.
Yeah, you know, it's so sad that, you know, because Roy and his wife, they love to ride motorcycles, and so they went out for a ride one day, and a very nice day, and so they're sitting at this stoplight, this intersection stoplight, and so the light turned green, and she takes off, and Roy's still sitting at the light, and unfortunately a car ran the red light, hit her, and killed her on the motorcycle, and you know, that broke his heart. pretty sad thing, you know.
Roy Orbison, majestic singer, a career that spanned the decades, and yet it was on the slides, travelling Wilburys notwithstanding towards the end of his career. But Pretty Woman, the Roy Orbison song, got a real kind of shot in the arm and went all around the world again when it was used in the film. What was the name of that film? It was Pretty Woman, wasn't it? The song was used in the 1990 global hit movie starring Richard Gere and Julia Roberts. Synchronisation fees are confidential, but a song over a movie's end titles is said to bring in anything between £50,000 and £500,000. Mercy.
The fact that someone thought enough of the song and felt that it was so important that they sort of married it together, I think ensures a little more life for that song.
In 1989, a Florida hip-hop posse used Pretty Woman in a more controversial way.
Do you think you're nastier than the average rap act?
Well, we do sexual, we do explicit lyrics. I mean, our lyrics are explicit. We talk about sex.
Two Live Crew released a rude rap version of Orbison's classic.
Two Live Crew decided to do what rappers generally do when they do derivative works, which is to make it more street. Pretty Woman was a nice, poppy, catchy, you know, family-oriented, you know, song, and they turned it into a song talking about women's bottoms.
Now, for several reasons, we can't bring you the Two Live Crew version of this song, but here's a taste of the inspired lyrics. Big hairy woman, you gotta shave that stuff. Big hairy woman, you know I bet it's tough. Big hairy woman, all that hair, it ain't legit, because you look like Cousin It. Well, move over, Noel Coward. Bill Dees despised this version. Around this time, rap groups were plundering back catalogues for samples from other songs. Two Live Crew were refused permission to sample Pretty Woman. They did it anyway. So lawyers got involved, and Two Live Crew's case went all the way to the Supreme Court in Washington, D.C.
Ended up winning the case because the Supreme Court decided that Two Live Crew's version of Pretty Woman, which they called Oh Pretty Woman, was a parody. That means it was a version of the song that made fun of the original version of the song. And because we value the First Amendment in the United States, we feel that when you make fun of something, you shouldn't be restricted in your ability to do that, and you shouldn't have to pay for the right to do that.
A similar law has been considered over here in Britain. It's not popular among songwriters, as you can imagine. But despite the US Supreme Court ruling, Pretty Woman has still made lots of money for Orbison and Dees.
If you're specifically talking about the writer's share, I'm sure that it's millions of dollars. But as to what amount, I'm not prepared to jump on. But a lot of people have made a lot of money off a song, such as Pretty Woman.
Our research shows that over the years, Pretty Woman has raked in nearly £13 million in royalties.